Got a action-packed episode for you guys tonight. Matt McRoberts, what's going on, dude? We're going to jump right back into the main of things very, very quickly here today. Let me see. Let's go over to chat. Hello, everyone. I got the sexy clock ticking. I've increased the font size of the on-screen chat. You may still use the chat on the Facebook side if you wish, but now you can see if there's anybody who is, hey, Doug, see if there's anybody on, for example, Doug and TX on Twitch. And all you Facebook people can see them Twitch. Thank you, Rich. I am better than anything that is on TV. Come a week and a half from now when the Super Bowl's over, there's no question. I am the best thing going in the visual medium, period, until the next football season starts. Hello, Christine. How are you? Shannon, what's up? Steve the Iceberg Ricky Berg is learning a new skill set for us to edit the video that we are making of these things. And although this is episode number 7, I have yet to put any of these edited videos up on the YouTube. But we'll see what we can do about that in the near future. Jenna Lee, how are you? Hello, everybody. Hello, Forward Forever Experience. Hola. Man, got all kinds of good people coming in here. So just a little slight change. Now when you see the main chat window, it goes from the top down instead of the bottom up. You guys may make whatever sexual innuendos you wish on that point. That's all on you. Rob Otto can see. He can see. Fabulous. Thank you, Shelba. That was the goal. The font was just too darn tiny. Thank you, Daryl. I did a lot of work on the sound, too. I made the sound consistent from live stream to the solo podcasting. Why it wasn't consistent from square one, I have no idea. There should have been the same sound to start out with. Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, in the room. Michael Grace, what's up? Big Nasty's in the house. Rob Otto, you're funny. Rob top, Dan bottom. You know how that goes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 1 minute 53 seconds. If you need to grab yourself a tasty beverage or go take care of the things you do in the private room, you know, you got time to do that before we kick in. What's up, Newlywed? What's up, Keel? Oh, it's good. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. It's I'm almost on track now to have it down to the 1 day a week writing on Friday. I've got some plot things I haven't addressed yet to try and figure out how to finish this damn story. Usually when I start a book, I start with a finish. I already know the finish and I kind of work backward from there to some extent. And I haven't done that this time, so we'll have to see how it goes. Okay. I am drinking a little scotch here today, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, for the reading, I'm drinking tea. And then I will dive into the scotch, you know. That's what we will do. All right. Down to 1 minute before we begin story time. Get yourself ready. I do have a story so far. I'll get you caught up on things. And we'll see how it goes. And Steve, I will remember to hit record this time. Faux shizzle. Got the other mic. The other mic is muted. Everything is sealed up. I got my position. Should be good to go. Steve has had to try and bail out some shit I've recorded. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. What kind of tea? This is, A can tell when she comes back in, but it's throat coat tea. Rob, shut the hell up. It's actually called throat coat tea. Yes, Daniel, I will tell you fuckers right now, I will not be looking at the chat when I'm doing the reading. And matter of fact, let's just minimize that sumbitch right there. Then you guys, hey Sean, chat amongst yourselves. I am not looking at your funny texts. You can't make me laugh. You just can't because I'm not looking at it. All right, time to party, ladies and gentlemen. Got this super slick counter going right here. Let's get into it. And we are going to... Steve, we are recording. Actually recording. Sound is good. Let's see if we can pull this off this week without a re-record. The snaps. Hello and welcome to Slay episode number 7. I am Scott Sigler. I'm very fancy and I'm about to read you a very fancy bit of literature. First of all, previously on Slay. Lincoln Franks once worked for The Bastion, a mysterious organization that hunts and kills creatures of evil. Now, he's a freelancer, killing monsters for the highest bidder. But one client doesn't have to pay him. Lincoln's young son Samuel was kidnapped by Tommy Two Fingers, a supernatural bounty hunter. Tommy sold Samuel to The Shelf, a purgatory-like place full of agony and horror. Callista made a deal with Lincoln. She would provide Samuel protection on the shelf if Lincoln did her bidding. Tonight, that bidding is to kill a lawyer named Ariella Goldsmith. Lincoln has never heard of this woman. He doesn't know if she's good or bad, if she deserves to die, or if she's innocent. But to protect his son, he's going to take her out. With his weapons freshly cleaned, sharpened, loaded, and stored in his hollow cloak, Lincoln Frank sets out to do as he's been instructed. Lincoln Franks stood on the flat roof of a brownstone that was easily worth 10 times what he had paid for his old church. Uptown, where the rich people lived. Doctors, business owners, old money, trust fund kids, and, of course, lawyers. Lawyers like the one Lincoln had come to kill. Ariella Goldsmith lived in the third-floor flat of the brownstone across the street. Or so Callista had said. Lincoln would have to confirm Goldsmith's identity before he killed her. She could be an innocent, just like that kid Lincoln had spared at the warehouse. She could be purblind as well, just a regular, unenlightened schmuck who'd somehow pissed off Callista. Then again, Goldsmith could be fully immersed in the supernatural. She might live in the patchwork, for all Lincoln knew, coming to the human realm to do business and to cause misery. He took some comfort in the fact that Callista had few interactions with the truly innocent. Lincoln sensed Shitbird flying in, a black shadow crossing the starless sky. He raised his right arm. The big crow backflapped, landed lightly. "Nothing around, Shitbird said. "Place is as dead as your sex life, Give me a cracker." Of all the familiars in the world, Lincoln had wound up with a smart-ass crow. "Never mind my sex life. You sense anything else? Any meshwork? Protection spells?" The big crow ruffled its feathers, dug its beak into one wing to scratch an itch. Lincoln waited. He'd been with Shitbird long enough to know when the crow was milking the paws for drama's sake. Sometimes, Lincoln wanted to wring the stupid bird's neck. The crow finished the itch, tilted its head, and opened its beak like a smartass about to deliver a punchline. One shiny black eye stared up at Lincoln. Some fibers, Shitbird said. "Tension knots on the windows. Be careful! Give me a fucking cracker!" Lincoln dug a small bag of oyster crackers out of his pocket. He tore it open with his teeth as he watched the brownstone across the street, scattered the crackers across the flat rooftop. Shitbird dropped down to feast. The crow wasn't all bad, really. Where else was Lincoln going to find a scout to do aerial reconnaissance for the stiff price of crackers you got for free with takeout soup? Filaments were the basic ingredient of what the unenlightened called magic. Filaments were made from human emotions. Bad day at work, spouse cheating, some numbnuts cut you off in traffic, too many idiotic Facebook misinformation posts infuriate you. Each emotion created a certain kind of filament. The purblind didn't know the filaments were there, not even when special craftsmen known as pullers harvested them. Once harvested, spinners took over. Spinners turned filaments into fibers, greatly concentrating the emotional energy. From there, weavers got to work using fibers to make mesh, the true raw material of magic. Meshwork went into spells, gave objects special abilities, gave weapons unique powers, etc. The more complex the spell or charm, the more types of fibers that were needed, and the greater skill required at weaving them into mesh. Goldsmith's flat had tension knots on the windows. Was she a full-blown weaver? Maybe someone else had crafted the knots for her. Tension knots were simple enough sorcery. In theory, anyway, they were way beyond Lincoln's skill. Some filaments of paranoia, some of caution, some of distrust, some of protective instincts, all woven together into thin, invisible strands that could be stretched across doors, windows, any kind of opening, really. Touch them, and their owner gets an instant alert. Or, worse, they trigger a waiting spell. The presence of tension knots meant danger for Lincoln, but they also helped ease his mind somewhat. Ariella Goldsmith was likely enlightened, which also meant the odds of her being an innocent were low. Rare indeed was an enlightened who hadn't done bad things at one point or another. Still, it wasn't a certainty that Goldsmith had done anything to deserve assassination. Lincoln wished he'd had more time to investigate, but what choice did he have? If he didn't do what Calista ordered, she wouldn't protect little Sam on the shelf. The kid was 10. The only thing he'd done wrong was to have Lincoln for a father and Jacoby Franks for a grandfather. Sooner or later, Calista was going to make Lincoln cross a line that could not be uncrossed. Was tonight that night? Maybe. And maybe it didn't matter. The job still had to get done. Goldsmith was a stranger. Sam was more important than anyone else. If innocent people had to die to keep Sam safe, then that was a risk Lincoln had to take. Three o'clock in the morning. No traffic on the street, no pedestrians either. No nearby bars or clubs. No wandering crackheads, no screaming bums. Not in this part of town. At night, rich people slept. Probably because they needed their rest to properly fuck over anyone and everyone who was not rich. Yes, the Target's windows had tension knots, but other than that, Lincoln saw no security. No bars across the windows, no watchers on the roof, no guard or doorman. If there were tension knots on the windows, the same were likely present on the front door, possibly even stretched across hallways. If he tried the main entrance and took the stairs, the target might have more time to react. The windows were the fastest way. Break in, find Goldsmith, kill her, get the hell out of there. Might as well get it over with. Integumento, he said. The black shroud formed, hiding his face from the world. Lincoln pulled his cloak tight around his shoulders. Descendat. He stepped off the roof, dropped down lightly from 3 stories up. His boot heels hit the concrete with barely a sound, and he was already walking across the street. He saw no one, sensed no one watching. At Goldsmith's brownstone, he silently scrambled up the wall. No need for magic here. His strength and the old building's ample handholds let him quickly climb to the 3rd story. At the leftmost of Goldsmith's 3 third-floor windows, he paused. To anyone watching from the street, he would have been a shadow against the stone. Not invisible exactly, but so devoid of detail that few would give him a second glance. Lincoln breathed in through his nose, a long, slow, measuring sniff. A hint of wickedness oozing through the windows. The scent was too minimal for him to make it out. Corruption, violence, murder, betrayal, he couldn't lock it down. He had hoped for a last-minute, oh-so-obvious tell that this lawyer deserved what she was about to get, but no such luck. And once he went through that window, once he broke those tension knots, the die was cast. He sensed the presence of the knots. He could try to unravel them, but he knew he'd fail. Whoever had woven these strands had more meshwork ability than he, and by a long shot. The only way through was, well, through. Lincoln slowly, carefully, leaned enough to peek into the windows. Inside, every wall had floor-to-ceiling shelves loaded with books both big and small. No knickknacks, just books. In the center of the room, an antique chair sat next to a tall, antique Tiffany lamp. He reached into his cloak and drew Bastard Maker. The bearded hatchet was his favorite tool for close quarters work. Magda had sharpened it, rejuvenated its mesh. The hatchet hummed with quiet power, thirsting for fresh blood. Lincoln drew back, whipped Bastard Maker down. The blade sliced tension knots, crushed the wooden window frame, and cracked glass, all in one fell swoop. The same instant, Lincoln was through and in. No burglar alarm, no immediate blast of magic to drive out the intruder. He quickly shuffled to his left, away from the window, his boot soles crunching on broken glass. He paused, opening his senses, expanding his awareness, searching for the result of cutting the knots. Nothing. Maybe some luck had finally come his way. Some of the books looked old, very old. Lincoln could taste the magic in the air. One door out of the library, and it was closed. Time to find the lawyer and send her to her end. Lincoln took one step forward, then another, and then he stopped. He heard something. Something like the soft creak of old leather, the crinkle of ancient paper. He sensed the invisible waver of meshwork. The library door swung inward. There stood a woman, perhaps mid-30s, wearing only a black nightgown, one hand clutching a necklace of thick turquoise chunks, the other hand gripping the door handle. Her short, blonde with dark roots hair was swept over the top of her head, a haircut that spared no expense and looked fresh from the stylist even though she must have been asleep only moments before. She stared. Lincoln sniffed. She smelled of wickedness, to be sure, but was it enough to merit a death sentence? Her eyes narrowed. "Callista sent you?" He said nothing. His fingers adjusted on Bastard Maker's haft. "Well, you sure aren't here to deliver a pizza," the woman said. "I've been expecting you, asshole." Her necklace flared with crackling green energy. Lincoln knew he had waited too long. He rushed forward. The blow hit him from the left, sent him flying across the room to crash into the far bookshelf. The 1-2 impacts dazed him for a moment, but only a moment. He scrambled to his feet. If he hadn't been wearing his armor, he'd be a bag of broken bones. The room filled with a soft emerald light. In that light, Lincoln saw a row of books curve away from the shelf like a rectangular tentacle. The row shot toward him, tomes pressed cover to cover, rustling with the sound of flipping pages. Lincoln sidestepped and brought Bastard Maker down hard. The blade sliced through a leather-bound volume, splitting it in half. The books beyond that slice fell to the floor, as inanimate as they'd been only moments before. The rest of the books, though, recoiled away from him, curling back toward the shelf. Lincoln Franks had skills. He had worked hard to hone them, worked for years to hone them. And yet, it was an innate ability that was the only reason he had survived all those years fighting for the Bastion. An intuition of coming danger, something that only happened for him in combat. That same instinct made him throw himself forward. Another book tentacle whizzed over his head, this one coming from the right side shelves. He tucked and rolled, came to his feet next to the antique chair. He started toward the woman, but the curving book tentacles crisscrossed in front of her, protecting her, crisscrossed in front of the window, cutting off his escape. Books flew off the shelves, a blur of bound volumes smashing into each other on the other side of the chair. The books stuck, creating a fast-growing, paper-flapping shape that extended legs, then arms, then what passed for a head with an upper jaw whose spine read, The Odyssey. The lower jaw book was edge out, the white paper sharpening into pointed teeth. Just like that, Lincoln found himself facing a hulking, 8-foot-tall golem made of books. The big book head turned toward the woman. "Your wishes, master." The woman looked at Lincoln. "Kill this intruder." The golem swung a hardcover fist full of pure power. Lincoln stepped back, dodged the blow. His back thudded against the now mostly empty bookshelf. No room left to maneuver. The golem stepped forward, tossing the antique chair aside with one arm, the Tiffany lamp with the other. Lincoln seized upon that momentary distraction, reached into his cloak for his Vepr 12 shotgun. Firing one-handed, there was no hope of accuracy, but the golem was only a few feet away, and it took up half the room. Lincoln fired low, let the weapon rise from recoil as the 10-round magazine emptied in 2 seconds. A line zipped up the golem's front, double-aught buckshot ripping through covers and paper alike, filling the air with madly swirling confetti. The golem kept coming forward as if it felt nothing at all, which, in reality, it did not. It was an inanimate object brought to life by this woman's magic. Again, a big bookish left hand swung forward. Lincoln ducked under it, but too late did he see the right hand rushing in. It swatted him like a rat, sent him flying into the wall. His body shattered wooden shelves. The shotgun tumbled away. He crashed to the floor, realizing that first surprise hit had been little more than a slap. Now that the golem had been given a license to kill, it wasn't pulling its punches. Lincoln didn't feel the pain fully just yet. His adrenaline and training kept it at bay. But if he survived this, he'd feel it all too soon. A Bigfoot Soul with the hardcover cover, Under Alien Skies read the title, came down fast. Lincoln rolled clear just before impact, swung a powerful backhand. The foot struck so hard that floorboards broke. Bastard Maker's ancient, curved edge bit deep into the thick leg, yanking... Sorry about that. Bastard Maker's ancient, curved edge dug deep into the thick leg. Lincoln yanked the blade free, crouched for the next attack, keeping one eye on the lawyer and the other on his well-read foe. The golem turned and came forward again, but when it stepped with the leg Lincoln had wounded, the limb buckled, smaller books and chunks of bound pages popping free. The monster stumbled, regained its balance almost immediately, but by then, Lincoln was already a blur of motion. With both hands, he brought Bastard Maker down with all his strength. The hatchet split the golem's head, parting covers and pages, driving through the squat neck, all the way down to where a heart would have been had it been a living thing. The monster shuddered. But even with the hatchet in its chest, the books started to bind together, mismatched tomes knitting into new combinations, giving the golem solidity once again. If the monster had 2 or maybe 3 more seconds, it would likely have been ready to strike, to crush Lincoln into pulp, but one word from him changed the game. Caladium. Bastard Maker blazed with orange fire, fast and hot and undeniable. The golem's chest flared with flame, fist-sized at first, then long tongues rose up from the chest to engulf the head, spreading down the arms and legs. Lincoln felt the heat billowing out, felt it caress his face, a blast furnace that had sparked to life in less time than it took to blink. He yanked Bastard Maker free, backed off, his boots crunching on broken wood and wobbling on thick chunks of paper. Flames flicked high, spread out across the ceiling. "Extingue!" the woman shouted. The flame wafted out, gone as fast as it had appeared. The ruined golem wavered for a moment, then the scorched books that made up its body collapsed into a smoldering, smoking pile. Lincoln was not going to underestimate this woman again. He closed on her in a rush, grabbed her around the throat. Damn it. Sorry. Lincoln was not going to underestimate this woman again. He closed on her in a rush, grabbed her around the throat, raised Bastard Maker to cleave her conjuring head in two. Just as he started to bring the ancient blade down, she croaked out a fast, desperate sentence. "I can save Sam!" Lincoln froze. Had he heard her right? "What did you say?" Her eyes squenched shut. Her feet dangling inches above the ground, she fought for air. Lincoln let her go. She collapsed to the floor, her hands rubbing her throat as she coughed and drew in big breaths. Your son, she said, grunting out the words. You're Lincoln Franks, right? You're doing this because you made a deal with Callista to protect him on the shelf? You don't have to kill for her. I can get you out of it. Lincoln knelt and ripped free her necklace. Chunks of turquoise scattered across the floor, bouncing off burned and broken books. He held the blade's edge in front of her face. He stared at her, desperate to believe, hating himself for daring to do so. He didn't know this woman. How could she help Sam? Bullshit, Lincoln said. You're lying. She raised a hand, palm out. Just give me 10 minutes, she said. If you don't believe me, then you can kill me anyway. What's it going to hurt to listen? It's just words. Lincoln huffed. You're a lawyer and, apparently, a weaver. Words are weapons for both kinds. Tears formed in the corners of her eyes. From fear, or maybe from the wafting smoke. I have a cleanup amulet in the kitchen, she said. You can use it. I don't have to touch it. Let's get rid of the smoke before the neighbors call the fire department. I'll tell you what I know, okay? Whatever she had to say, whatever desperate gambit she floated, Lincoln knew it would spark his hope, would make the heartbreak over Sam all the more intense. But he had to know. Tatego, Lincoln whispered. The shroud covering his face slid away. He wanted her to see his eyes. He wanted her to see how serious he was. Let's go get that amulet, Lincoln said. You better start talking now, though. You've only got 9 minutes left. That is episode number 7 of Slay. Hope you guys join me next week for the next episode. Yay! There we go. A little ad-lib yay. All right. That is our episode for the day. Steve, it recorded successfully. I think we're in good shape. I did forget to put the Slay lower third up there. Yeah, what are you going to do? Can't win them all. Let's go. Boop, boop, boop. Get the... There you guys are. Let me take a look at this. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. It's a fun story starting to come together a little bit. Thank you, Daryl. Starting together. Claps and snaps. Cheers. Cheers, all of you wonderful, wonderful bastards. Let's get the chat up. You can all see what each other's talking about. So at this point, our man Lincoln he's gonna go through some things. You know what they say? He's gonna go through some things. Baby girl, come on up whenever. Oh, hold on, guys.
Grab that computer.
Okie doke.
Computer, you got it?
Yep.
Okay. I love that you have a decorative Mountain Dew can.
I just forgot to put it away, that's all. All right, back to Maine, ladies and gentlemen. My awesome wife is here with us, and she gonna hang out and do what she does. Okay, there we go. Shannon says, that bastard makered all over our faces. Yeah, now I forget the term for what bastard maker is. It's a bearded hatchet. And in Norse, it's called a skegex or a skegox or a skiox. I don't know how to pronounce the goddamn thing. I just read it in a book. And it's if you look up Viking bearded hatchet, Rob, make sure you spell it exactly like I said. Don't take liberties with that one. Viking bearded hatchet, you're going to see what this gentleman has. It is, spoiler alert, 9 centuries old and has been wielded by some famous people in the past and now belongs to El Lincoln. You ready to go, babe? Do I need to make that room for you? You got it?
I just had to get them out.
Fabulous.
We forgot to get them out. Hi, guys.
Oh, let me unmute you.
And let me do this also.
There we go. Hello, everyone.
Tinies.
Welcome to Hang Time with the Siglers. John Bivens asked, when can we purchase this in print? I could not tell you. We are...
My best guess is at the very, 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 very earliest second half of 2024. But I would say that's...
Grawl, I just told Rob not to make those jokes, and then you come in and make those jokes.
Generally, you... Oh, my goodness. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much.
All right, so let's go over what we got. We got a wonderful show for you guys. Babe, what do you think of the new text? Do you like the new text in the chat? It's a little bit easier to read, maybe?
It's way easier to read than the before, and it's way more appropriately sized than last week.
Sherry says, are we still going to get an appearance from Miss Hooker Double H Books? I vaguely remember that. Do you remember that?
Hooker what?
That I remember this vaguely. Oh, it's a cat, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's a cat. Yes, we're going to get... Sherry, can you email info@emptyset with a reminder of that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of great things to share with you today. We have coming up, we have the cover reveal for Shakedown. Only 2 people in this event
chat
have seen it. Chris Grall's seen it, A's seen it, and I'm not...
3 people.
I'm not really a person.
I mean, you are.
I'm a mystical creature of
I
unlimited power.
I feel like none of that is true.
That's why I don't have hair, because if I had so much power, I can't keep the hair in place. All right, coming up, we've got, I don't have the cover for you, we'll share it next week. We have, no wait, we're not there yet. We've got some book readings coming up for you California types. But let's start here. Baby settles in, newsletter and text. Here is our newsletter alert. Sign up for our newsletter. It's great. You'll love it. Here's our text alert.
And I know that several of you have emailed in recently saying there's something screwy with signing up for a newsletter. Like it takes your stuff but never sends you a newsletter.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Well, it just happened. So I think we haven't sent a newsletter since the beginning of the year. So I think people are like, oh, I don't.
Hey, Julie.
I'm not getting them. But you will get them. Hey, Julie Press, how are you? So you will get them. But also, I'll just say very briefly, we're moving to a new platform and you'll be able to sign up again there. So if it doesn't work, email me. And I think it might just be that we haven't sent a newsletter since the first.
that was sexy.
It's okay.
Sexy broadcaster work. Let me partially vomit into the microphone. This is why we win Emmys, you guys. This is why we win Emmys, because they're so real.
Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, says my mic is way lower than yours.
Oh, I got a mic chub going on.
I feel like this is unfair.
You want higher, baby?
I mean, volume-wise, yes.
Oh, lower volume-wise.
Yes, I know what you're...
Yeah, I noticed that too. I don't know. Let me see what's going on here.
He's literally physically moving.
Yeah, you talk for a second. I see. Mine is cranked up. Yours is here.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. A little bit better, maybe.
And I can hear myself, and you can hear yourself. And now... Yeah, the microphones are equal between the genders. Okay, so let's go.
So I did get a question from Shannon Bethany about the lipstick that I'm wearing. Guys, go to if you are a human who wears lipstick, go to ELF. I don't know if it's ELF or ELF, but go to ELF, especially in January, because the sale might be over now since it's February, but they always have a sale. It's also super cheap. So go ahead there. And this is their crayon. I'll show it to you. I'll tell you what it is.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know we were going to have makeup show and tell today, you guys. I'm very pumped.
It looks like this. And it's like a plummy color, but I have my contacts on, so I can't really read what that says. Can you?
Oh, you're asking me? We're old. I don't know. It says... Radiant Range. No, I can't.
Radiant something, but it's a crayon, and I love it so much.
We are
and
at the age
like $2
where we now use the iPhone to take a picture of things and then blow up the picture. I admit it.
But that's
how we are.
I wear progressive contacts because I'm also that old, which means I can't necessarily focus.
No, Kristen McWhite would not look good on Scott Ziegler.
Mary Garrett, really?
May start what?
If anybody in this chat wears makeup and understands the e.l.f. brand, ELF stands for eyes, lips, and face, according to Mary Garrett. I love that. How fun. So we also have this Saturday.
Boom.
Yeah, this Saturday. I'm going to be on the... He's got band practice, but I'm going to be in on this one on Saturday night. Our good friend Steve Rickeberg, who's also our audio engineer, as you know, in the chat room on Facebook right now.
Aspiring video engineer for live reads.
Well, there you go. He hosts a 7+ hour long sometime, but at least a 7-hour long first Saturday of every month, Zoom happy hour.
All right.
I'll be there on Saturday night for at least a little bit until he gets home from band practice and I have to walk the dogs. Come out and join us. It's super fun.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, whoops, hold on. Hit the wrong button. Many of you have been waiting a long fucking time for this book. cannot imagine how long. It's more than a year old, so therefore I think you've been waiting forever. But the book is submitted, the final draft is submitted to Athon Publishing, and we have a 5-book CRYPT deal with Athon. Apparently, if it's 5 or you should have put a ring on it. One of the two, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which it is.
My headphones. Just
Yes,
turn on my
doll.
headphones.
Yes. How's that?
I
Is
was
that
trying,
better?
Yeah, that's way better. I can now hear you. I was trying really hard to hear you guys before.
Yeah, you can just thank you. Okay, so we've waited a long time for this book. The cover is in. The cover took a little bit of work, as always. Covers take a lot of work, and not all authors get input on covers. So the input I do get, I try and maximize it. Got some help from the military consultants, the advisors for this. But ladies and gentlemen, this art is done by a gentleman named Philip 1L. Unfortunately, I forgot to write down his last name before we did this, but he's great. And Athon is great. And now, here we go. Baby, you have to lean to the side. Lean back.
I don't think I do. I think you
3,
do.
2, 1. There is the cover for the CRYPT Shakedown. The CRYPT Book I Shakedown. There is the PUV James Keeling. We thought about kind of rationing it out, like give you a little bit here, a little bit here, but it's such a different looking vessel, and the vessel is the point of the story that we didn't want new readers or readers who haven't watched every week and see Chris Grell's Lego models and the drawings to kind of all come up with a different mental look at what the ship was. So I thought, as a creator, as the author, I thought it was extremely important for everyone to kind of see the same thing. And while it's described in detail inside the book, having the thing on the cover is going to bring all the readers and all the fans. You guys are all going to get a shared experience with this.
Well, exactly. And you sort of see how things are a little bit different than a lot of military spec fic that you've read before. It's a little different. It doesn't look like all of those. It does look a lot like a Sigler spaceship. I'm not going to lie. Can I tell them my favorite part?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I mean, you do. My favorite part,
Go
but
for it.
of this
Go for
cover, I was so charmed by the detail on Scott's name in the cover for the E in his name. I think that's a distinguishing factor for Scott's name wherever it appears on a cover. And if he's the main thing, and I sort of loved that. It's a new departure, and I love working with a new partner who brings something special to the table, and it doesn't always have to be Scott making all the magic.
And we'll zoom in a little bit. Just you guys get this special ass treat.
Is it a nuclear vessel?
It is a
Nelson asks?
nuclear whistle.
Whistle.
Nuclear whistle. And there we go. You guys should be able to see a little better now.
Yep. You should make it big enough we don't have. Well, we'll just lean in.
Lean back. All right, I'll try. You know what? Screw it. We'll make
Just
it,
lean
we'll
in.
make it even bigger. Boop.
Yeah, there you go.
And boop.
It's really fun. It's such a fun thing.
That's a little bit stretched out, but you will read it. And I intentionally made the length of the ship is 110 yards.
Oh, come on.
So that
Why
anytime.
is that important, sir?
Excuse me. 100 and it's 120 yards. Pardon me.
Okay, why is that important?
It's important because every time you watch a football game on TV, you realize that the PUV James Keeling goes from the back of one end zone to the back of the other end zone. So I thought it was a really cool way. And it's one thing, it's like, that ship's 500 feet long. I'm like, wow, that's a long ship. But 500 feet long, I don't exactly know how long 500 feet is.
And the goalpost to goalpost is a thing. That was one of the first things that Scott and I ever did. I used to run an event planning company. You guys know this. That doesn't matter. One of the things we did was the San Diego Hall of Fame Sporting Hall of Fame Awards. And one of the first things I ever did was escort a gentleman who, on his very first play in the NFL, ran a kickoff from the touchback all the way to a touchdown. And I said to Scott, he ran 105 yards for a touchdown. And Scott was like, that can't be true.
That's not. Baby, I would never say that. What are you talking about?
Well, you were like, he didn't, where did he start? Because at the time, I knew nothing about sports. I was like, where it said Chargers, that's where he ran from. And he was like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
Usually A has an iron trap memory that puts mine to shame, but I'm very familiar with 105-yard kickoff returns. So,
Oh, no. I said he ran a touchdown. You were like, well, the field is. And I was like, no, but he was where it said. I didn't even know that there was an end zone at that time.
Okay.
Back in the day.
okay. Yeah, I'm going over some of the questions in the chat right now. There's an enormous amount of detail. Philip really worked really hard with the Athon editors and publishers to get this. And again, this is specialized treatment, you guys. They have treated me they've treated me very well. They really want the series to succeed. They're very invested in the existing Scott Sigler fan base being happy with it. So that the ship on the cover is exactly the ship. Well, there's a couple minor details, but for intents and purposes, the ship on the cover is exactly the ship, which I think should be enjoyable as you start, because some crazy shit happens in this book. Chris Growl will tell you, some bonkers shit happens in this. And it's just book one. And the bonkers level in book one is like down here. We have to raise the bonkers level gradually up to bonkers level 5. And it's a very bonkers level of things.
Bonkers level goals.
The goal of this series is to give those familiar with the content, give you something that's familiar in what you expect, but to constantly surprise you. And this series will constantly up level. And I tell you what, only 4 people have any idea what the end of this series is going to be, and it's bonkers. It's crazy bonkers. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Shannon, everybody loves a good bonking. Thank you, Shannon. That's a new line for us. I'm going to give you a solid bonking with my series. It's going to be a very good bonk.
I'm 100% good with that, by the way.
Sup, Brolo? Brolo's in the house.
Hey, dude, I love you so much. Is my mom in the chat room too? What?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're not back out on the road yet, but if you happen to live in the San Diego area, we are going to be at Mysterious Galaxy in San Diego on April 18th at 7 p.m. for a reading of the Marie Curie anthology. Yep. And Jonathan Mayberry's going to be there, and I forget who else. I don't think Peter. I forgot who's in it. I did not prepare well. We'll prepare better next week.
There's so many people in it.
And at May 3rd, 7:30 p.m. at Warwick's in downtown Village of La Jolla. Mm-hmm. So we are getting back out there. It should be pretty fun. And what time we got, babe?
We've got so much time.
We got to rush.
We have my mom and my brother in the chat room. Jude C. Stenson
Hi,
is
Molo.
my brother, and Marianne Radowski is my mother, just so you know. They have full permission to embarrass me as they see fit, but they are very kind, so.
Yeah, Jason Brown, yes. John, God, this is really not good TV. When I'm typing out a text and saying it while I type it, like a crazy old person. So I think Chris Grawl knows how the series ends. Mm-hmm. I think you know.
I do.
I think you know. I know, and maybe John knows.
And what about JP?
JP Harvey and Joe Root.
No.
I believe I've told them. But I'm not sure, and I'm not going to say for sure because if I haven't told them, we got to hold back. All right.
David Lamb. Before we move on to that, David Lamb asks, "Where does the crypt take place compared to the GFL?"
The crypt takes place roughly 200 years before the GFL. So we have modern day, and then if you were to go up 5 centuries from modern day, that gets you into the crypt era, roughly, without looking at Siglerpedia. And then it's 200 years after the crypt series that you get the GFL. So the big difference between the crypt and the GFL is when the crypt hits, all of the alien races are still very, very alien. There's much less integration and interaction between the species. For example, a Sklorno are this horribly alien entity. Same thing goes for the Key. There's a couple of planetary union races that have already started to intermingle, but not well, not like in the GFL. So there's a lot of distrust and suspicion and hatred between the species, even though they're technically part of the same government. The crypt is a much darker, much meaner, brutish existence than you have in the GFL. So that is the answer to your question.
All right, let's move on then.
All right.
Have
Brian Kane, the crypt series is going to be 5 books.
We have Empty Set or Pet Picks.
Empty Set Pup Dates. Let's go to it. Dun, 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 dun. It's time for my pup date music. Dun, 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 dun. And there,
come on,
in the corner,
that was early on in
the Agent of
the
Chaos
pandemic. If you guys see behind me and the Agent of Chaos, who is absolutely reckless. That bookshelf is what we did when we first moved into this PUV empty set in the pandemic. That lasted about a year, and then all those motherfuckers started to fall out of the wall while I was trying to work. So it looks a little different now, but that's still my sweet girl.
And our big pup pick is, oh my God, that's me taking my buddy out downtown San Diego. Like, let's go, buddy, let's go get a drink. Where's that?
No, this is at the Garland in West Hollywood.
Oh my gosh, my dog is so fancy.
He sent me this photo to say, I have the best, this was before we were dating, not that it would have mattered, but he sent, I have the best date for dinner tonight.
Yep.
And this is the photo he texted.
She sat in that chair like
She's
a champ,
so
just hung
young.
out. Such a peanut.
Such a peanut. So young, she has no gray in her muzzle.
All right, here we go. And now it's time for y'all's pets.
All right.
Oops,
so,
I did this.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. It can be out of order. I know all three of these.
Great.
So, my dear friends, my fam in Austin, Texas, the Chavaria Sherwoods, adopted two new pups. The one you see in this photo on the left of this photo, the scruffier, the curlier furred one, that is Wembley. And of course, the lovely human in green is boss Jen Sherwood, masked for safety. And the little one in the checkered coat, that's Hash Brown.
Those are cute puppies.
They both came home to the Chavaria Sherwoods in, I think, late December. I don't think it was January. I think it was late December, but I might be wrong. They're absolutely adorable. Let's see another photo.
Randa, yes. The Crypt will be a series in book form. It's going to be 5 books. I'm still working with Athon. One way or another, there are going to be hardcovers coming out of that bad boy, and we'll do a big pre-run. Oh, we're going to be really
There
fun.
it is. Look at that's weird.
Next.
Oh, these are out of order, so hang tight. This is Dolly. You guys know I love Dolly. Dolly belongs to Robin Taylor. Dolly is a great travel companion. She manages the house while Robin does her job in the U.S. military. She turned 10 in January, and or maybe late December, and this is her 10th birthday photo. I love Dolly Parton to the ends of the
She's
earth.
very, the picture's a little distorted. Dolly Parton isn't quite that wide.
Yeah, she's not that wide. She's just the cutest munchkin that ever lived.
All right, let's go back to...
We got one more.
Pup pics and one more, and bang.
And this is Hash Brown on the very left and Wembley as the little spoon once they got home and were relaxed at home. Now, listen, you guys, I have had the great good fortune to be in their home. And, I understand why they could just crash out and recover and restore themselves now that they were finally home. So congratulations to all of you guys. And these are great.
And then we've got some junkie pictures to share, which are really great. I'm so excited about these. Ready?
I am.
Bang. And junkie pics, go to junkies. And I believe I did not. There we go.
Oh, guys. You guys know, for ages and ages, if you've been a longtime junkie, you know Akil Daniels. Akil Daniels and this is Christine now, his spouse. Obviously, they got married the first week of the year in Hawaii. They are beautiful, lovely human beings. They have a gorgeous, lovely child. And then they just decided they were going to do it all right. They were going to... have a destination wedding, bring their whole crew. I know I said last week that the morning of the wedding, when they all went to breakfast together before they got ready for the day, Akil wore a Kraken's t-shirt. You know, I love that. That doesn't matter, though. That wasn't the important part of the day. The important part of the day was this. This is him and his new bride, Christine, who has been around forever. I know you're mad about that, but it's true.
Speak for yourself. I think the most important part of the day was when Akil wore the shirt.
I know. Except, come on. Look at Christine. Look at this gorgeous couple. Look at this gorgeous couple who worked so hard to get to this moment that they just got to enjoy it. We have another wedding photo of Akil. Oh, hello, Tiny. And his groom crew. This is what he called it, his groom squad. Obviously, Akil is the person closest to the camera. He's gorgeous. And his whole crew, also gorgeous. I would like to note, Akil and his spouse chose to have whoever they wanted on their crew, and that last person in line seems to be not a groomsman, but a groomswoman.
All right.
I'm all in for that.
Next picture.
Okay, so the Copenhavers, who you guys know and love, if you've ever been to Siglerfest or ever hang out in Sigler Junkies, the Copenhavers go around the world and rent their home out and house it. This is them going to see the aurora borealis, which this is a bucket list item for me and them, and they got it, and I've never seen the aurora borealis, but it's gorgeous. And here they are house sitting as they go, I think. Show me the next couple of photos. This is them. Wait, where are they?
This is them freezing their privates off, as you can see.
For sure. But
yeah. Cover neighbors are like, fake a smile for the picture. Can't move my face. Can't move my lips.
Definitely, but they are in Iceland. This is Iceland. They saw the aurora borealis. These are obviously glaciers in Iceland. We have one more photo, which I think you'll enjoy more. Also in Iceland.
Yeah, the Penis Museum.
The Icelandic Penis Museum.
I'm going to Iceland. We gotta go check out the Penis Museum.
Gorgeous Beth is all like, no, you gotta take a picture. I gotta send it. I gotta send it for Sigler and Place.
Fabulous. Here, take your dog.
I will.
Jesus.
What's going on?
I don't know. She's hanging out. She wants cuddles.
Oh, Jenna Leah, I love that. I love the new trend to have all the people you love, not just the same gender as you, or, I love that. I think we should do more of that. It's super fun.
Okay. Let's see. We did that celebrations. Mm-hmm. We have dismissed. That's my watch telling me I haven't stood up all day. I've been sitting at the desk working hard for you people all day long. That's it. That's all the content we got, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys have questions, if not, I can call up some questions. But let me do this.
Questions
first. Can you bring it back to the main?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, Lavoine. Hello, Shoyle.
She's unhappy. She's like, I don't care about this. I please just hold me.
All right. So, as I told you way back when we started out this book, Slay. If you guys have thoughts on the story, now's the time to put them in the comments. I'm taking all of this information into consideration as I continue to work it out. It's been a bit free form. I had a 30-minute pilot script for Slay, and all of the story plus the other stuff I folded in through episode 7 is all part of up through episode 8 is basically all that one pilot script. This is not how stuff is supposed to work. Mike Wers asks, in the MVP, was it difficult to come up with the game, or did you have any inspiration? Yes, I had inspiration. It's Quidditch. It's Petra Prowat, who invented or created the Prowat race, is a huge nerd, Harry Potter nerd, and basically taught the sentient race that she created how to play Quidditch with some slightly more realistic rules than that silly Sneetch rule, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But that is the inspiration for it, and it's always been it's an Easter egg. So if you read along, there's been a lot of people who recognize the game like, wait a minute, is that fucking Quidditch? Is that Quidditch? And then they email and they find out, yes, it is Quidditch. You are correct. Let's see. Oh, got other questions coming in here. Kristen White says, when you voice act, what size do you read from? I'm old. I need girth letters at all time. I'm using a program called Teleprompter. And Teleprompter says the font is in 30 point, and I use Courier for everything because I'm an old school journalism nerd. But it does not it looks about like 24 or like 14, 16 point at the most. With Teleprompter, I can expand the size of the font, no problem. I can control the speed of it. I can do a bunch of stuff with it and read right off of the screen. So Sean asks, do you ever hold back some extremely brutal plot points so that you'll have it in your back pocket for a later book? Yes. Also, that's, the progressive level of the progressive peak to equilibrium of violence kind of slopes upward. You can't shoot your wad, so to speak, in the opening chapter. Although sometimes a huge amount of disturbance in the opening chapter is a great way to send a message to a reader like, oh shit, this guy is serious. This is going to be crazy. And then you can immediately dial it back from there. It's the classic horror movie, the old 80s horror movie trope. You've got the guy, well, I'm just a janitor. I'm cleaning up in this here bar. And, I know it's a secret bar where they're making stuff, but I'm late. So this door's unlocked. Well, I'll just go on in there and mop. And then they get eaten. And then you go back to some regular people doing regular things, not knowing about the threat level. So it's like a Hitchcockian bomb under the chair type setup. But you want, like with all things suspense, you want to save your biggest punches for the championship rounds. You want the really big things, so you constantly keep surprising people a little bit and delight them through the book.
And also, Sean, I'll say this. I know for sure, because we talk about it mechanically, some of the things that you sort of hear about early on and very vaguely are intentionally plotted for another book, like a third book or something like that, as long as it all pans out. So yes, absolutely, I think so.
Citizen Gold, everybody else, if you arrive late to hear the story, don't forget this exact same audio is going to be in the podcast feed. So go to scottsigler.com/subscribe. Subscribe to your favorite podcasting app. We've got Apple there. We've got Spotify. We've got Google Podcasts. And this coming Sunday will be episode 6 of Slay, and the following Sunday will be episode 7, the one I just read. Also, feel free when you have time tomorrow or any day this week to go back to twitch.tv/Scott Sigler, Facebook.com, wherever you're watching this now. Exactly the whole episode you're watching is archived. It is there. You can just go back and watch the story at your leisure.
So Jason Brown asks, when can he expect Earth Core 3?
Ooh, I tell you what, I didn't want to write an Earth Core 3 till I finished Mount Fitzroy. So when can you expect it? We are really under the gun right now. So we've got the final draft of GFL 7 coming up. I have still got some work to do on CRYPT Book I. Athon is expecting CRYPT Book II in the near future. There's a project Rob Otto and I are working on that we can't talk about right now. So basically I have 4 projects going live right now, and that's not counting Slay. So there's 5 projects going on right now.
There are actually 7 commitments remaining for 2023.
Oh, for 2023. Yeah, so I got a lot of work to do.
But here's the thing. Also, we partnered for Mount Fitzroy. We partnered with Audible. So if you're really into it, let Audible know, because I guarantee you, if they come to Scott and say, "Can you give us more?" we will discuss that.
Yeah. I don't know how you email Audible. And you guys, we posted.
Also on Facebook, they ask a bunch of querying questions on Facebook.
Is that outside? I thought that was.
I can't hear it. So that's the best way to know. But right now, we don't have a plan to actually publish a third book in the Sun Symbol series, but we do have ideas.
Mike Words in the chat room asked, do you need any specific review bumps to juice up? We'll get to that in a couple of episodes of Sigler in Place. But as always, one of the best things you can do if you're a fan of a creator is go to Audible, go to Amazon, go to Goodreads, vote up, give 5 stars to all the books that you like, and especially on Audible and on Amazon. You also go through the other reviews, and if you look at the other reviews and you see 5-star reviews, you mark that one helpful. What all creatives find, is that people who spend money and time on a book and don't like the book get real pissed. And so what they do is they write a bad review, then they go through every single 3-star or lower review, and they vote those up in the effort to try and get the bad reviews to be the first thing that people see. People get mad. So if you like the book, you can counter that by going and voting up all the good ones. There's nothing to do about the bad reviews. Yeah.
Chris McWhite has a good question.
Shoot.
You need to write an actual physical letter.
To Audible?
Do you use... Nope, just in general.
Oh, okay.
Do you use a felt tip? Do you use a ballpoint? Or do you use a fountain pen?
I don't write letters.
That is not his question. He has told you he does.
If I have to write an actual letter, I'm going to use a 0.5 gel tip pen. No, 0.7. Can you pull out one of my pens there?
I will, yeah.
I made fun of it, but there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the pen of choice by the FDO is the Energel Liquid Ink Gel, the 0.07 with the metal tip. I've got boxes of these things. Do you see? Hold on, I'll show my other new thing.
He repairs them. I will say for myself, I really love Retro 51 pens, and I really love a gel ballpoint myself. I know, I will tell all you guys, Chris McWhite is a fountain pen and an ink aficionado, and if you don't follow him,
excuse me,
on social media, you should, because it's beautiful to learn about different inks and how they get there and different pens. So go ahead, and you'll learn a lot about building management too, which is really interesting too. So go ahead and do that.
I use pens an enormous amount for things like this. So like, oh shit, that's not supposed to be there. Okay, I screwed this up. Anyways, I make a lot of notes very quickly throughout the day. I do to-do lists. I have, with my brain, it helps if I put the pen to paper. And then we got to do, these are all goofed up. But then I just got this, because now I have cards all over the place. And if I make a card, I make a stack of cards, and I move them around the corner, they cease to exist until 2 months later when I clean out my office and go like, oh shit, that would have been good information to have. So now I have gotten very fancy. I have a clear box with the cards, blank cards, everything ready to go. Things are labeled up top, and it's clear, so I can't forget the things are in it because it's right on top of the desk. It's very fancy. It's a recipe box. I'm quite impressed. So this is what I use pens for.
Wait a minute, bring it back. I just realized there's a little, is there a little spot? Yeah, we can put Scott's ideas. There's a little,
Is that?
yeah, there's a little,
oh, you're right.
Yeah,
that is
a little title on
Yeah.
top. I'll make a little one for next week.
So there you go. These are how I track my to-dos, and eventually they go into Remember the Milk. All right, what else we got, babe?
That's it. We're done at 7 p.m. You guys, if you have things you would like to share with us, we'll be back every week for the foreseeable future. We will be recording Slay and reading Slay with you guys. But if you have photos you want to share, you just met Hash Brown, you want to meet more dogs, send them in to info@emptyset. It will be really fun. Dogs, cats, lizards, I don't care what. Go ahead and send it
Dogs
in.
and cats living together. Complete
Chaos
chaos.
everywhere.
All right, let's go back to the main, and let's switch over to, oh, I see. I got that up there.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. That was a fun episode. I enjoyed that quite a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think the story is starting to come together. And I would say over the next 4 to 5 episodes, I will be doing this puppetry work with your emotions, and then it will own you. We'll be back February 8th for Slay Part 8. Part 8 on 2/8. It's not an accident.
Kismet.
We do this shit all the time, dude. We wake up like this. It's the way it happens.
Until then, you already know it's been 3 effing years.
We want you to stay smart.
Okay, we also need you to stay science.
And for the love of science, we want you to stay informed. And that is it. Thank you for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the Crypt cover reveal. You're the first people in the world outside of the publisher and us to see it. I hope you dig it, and I hope you guys dig that
There
book.
is
We put a
no
lot
release
of
date
work
yet
into that
for
book.
CRYPT Book I. Thank you for asking, Brian.
No release date yet.
Not yet. Release
But
date.
it's not cheating to say the audiobook recording will begin very soon. And the mellifluous, sonorous, velvet-like voice that reads the book is none other than Ray Porter. Darkseid himself is going to be doing the book.
Darkseid.
That is the guy who read Earthcore. That is the guy who read Mount Fitzroy. He is perfect for my stuff, and we're super pumped. It's going to be great. Anything else?
Just smooch off into the sky.
All right, guys. You can all kiss off into the sky.